Folks, I am very excited about this week's episode of Movie Tales because we are talking about Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. That's right, folks. We're venturing into our first claymation film, our first stop-motion film, and our first Aardman film. Things I like. I like all that stuff. I wish we talked about more of them. But we're really close to the debut of a new Wallace and Gromit movie coming to Netflix. So let's look at the last movie that they did that got a lot of Academy recognition. Oh, it's so much fun. I love these characters. Like, I've seen all of the shorts. It's been a while since I've watched them, but it's one of those things I think people of a certain interest in a certain type of comedy watch and of a specific age. And I was that age, and that was my type of comedy. They're really funny and silly and don't take themselves too seriously. So we got a feature film out in 2005. Peter Sallis, the original voice of Wallace, he actually did the theatrical movie too. And then you have a couple bigger names in there like Helena Bonham Carter and Ray Fiennes and all that stuff. And it's really exciting. Like, this is a fun character and concept that I'm so glad is still enduring. Like, people still love it. The crew at Discussing Film, if you follow them on any platform, this is like the bread and butter of that network. It's so fun. And that is what this movie is. It is just so much fun. It is just a silly premise involving big vegetables and a werewolf rabbit. And it's so silly and it just works. The dedication that comes into doing this type of like animation, it's one of the truest testaments to like an art form you can see. Like, the other examples I think are like Leica and Henry Selick, of course. He worked with Leica, But it's like, this is not easy to do. To truly take the time and patience to build the models, build the facial expressions, and make it fluid and perfect. It is hard and consuming and could drive a normal person mad. You cannot do this thing unless you are like a super fan and you have the patience in it. I couldn't do it. I've tried it. You see around me, I have a bunch of toys. I've tried to do stop motion. It's exhausting. I'll never do it again. But I can't sit here and tell you that we're talking about one of the best comedy duos of the past few decades. You have two guys. Well, one's a guy, one's a dog, but they're two guys, and they live together. One of them makes a bunch of gizmos and gadgets. He's like a smarty pants. Every day he wakes up, and as soon as like an alarm goes off in like the neighborhood, he's like the anti-pesto. So they're going to be the exterminators to remove the rabbit from a scene. Humanely, of course, because they're not monsters. That's Wallace. He's incredibly smart and gifted, and he's going to save the day. And then you have Gromit, and I will say this about Gromit. I stand by this 100%. If you were to take every single cartoon dog or like popular culture dog and have them fight each other, I think Gromit comes out maybe at the top spot, but definitely in like the top 3. This guy's a menace, and he is Buster Keaton. He's Buster Keatoning his way through this entire film. Just silly plots, just silly contrivances for him to deal with. It is so cute and silly and fun. And I love that the facial expressions, the key thing for the facial expressions in these characters, comes in the form of their eyebrows, or lack thereof. Just big-ass wrinkly foreheads. It's so good. It is so good. And it looks so silly. It's so much fun. So they are pest control, essentially. They will snuff out a rabbit, humanely take it away, and then lock it up in a cage. Forever, or whatever, it doesn't really say. But the idea comes that maybe if we could rehabilitate the rabbits, then that's what we could do. Make sure they don't eat the vegetables. Because the big vegetable festival is coming up. And the entire community likes to grow big vegetables. And then they compare them and rate them and everything. Grumit's no stranger to it either. He's grown a big melon, Mrs. Toddington, who's like somebody that Wallace has a crush on, she's grown like a huge garden of big stuff. Everyone in this community is like, we're making big vegetables, but there are rabbits that are menacing our community. Who's going to stop them? Is it going to be Ray Fiennes' character, Victor Quartermain, who's like, I'll just kill them. Here's a shotgun. I'll shoot them dead. It's going to be the cheese-loving enthusiast who's going to lock him in a cage. But his idea, Wallace has the idea to rehabilitate the rabbits by using lunar power with like his doohickey mind control device to put subliminal messages into the rabbits, being like, we don't want to eat carrots or celery or anything. We just want to eat like people food or something. That backfires because somebody accidentally flicks a switch. I think it's Wallace that flicks the switch. So his personality starts to mix up with a rabbit, and then a rabbit, who they call Hutch later, starts to mix up his personality with Wallace, leading to the birth, or the curse, you could say, of the were-rabbit, because they use, lunar power. So then this movie becomes Gromit trying to stop his owner or partner from terrorizing this village's vegetables. That's such a cool premise. That is so much fun. And it's great. I love everything about this. I love them thinking they got the rabbit because Hutch is like, he broke out there, Gromit. We got him locked up again. We'll build a bigger cage for him to stay in, Gromit, me boy. It's good, but it's obviously Wallace. Wallace is becoming the were-rabbit. And when there's a full moon, he turns into a big rabbit and he goes underground and steals all the vegetables. It's awesome. The look of the were-rabbit is sick, big, fluffy, and furry. I don't know how you move that thing. I don't know what the skeleton underneath that looks like, but it is so plump and awesome. I dig it so much. I love every single sequence that involves Gromit chasing the rabbit when he's going underground, and he just keeps adding stuff to his wiper blades so they work faster. It is so funny. Oh, this movie is good. This movie is good. It's awesome. It's the type of comedy that is just so, British and just so specific in tone. You just dig it. It's so good. And, as Wallace is becoming the were-rabbit, Hutch, who's the rabbit that they think is the menace at first, or Wallace thinks is the menace, he's slowly starting to become Wallace. So he puts on a little sweater vest halfway through it. He's like, cheese, cheese, cheese. Why is that so funny? It's awesome. And the designs for these rabbits, they're really funny. They are so iconic. I think they're up there, not on the level of Bugs Bunny, but the level of the Rabbids, the Rabbids from video games. That is what these remind me of. Just freaky little creatures that are clearly rabbit inspired and are goofy and of a very specific time. The hijinks just continues and continues. It builds up. People get out of their cages. We can't really stop the menace. It leads to a very intense sequence towards the end of the movie where the village is like, we can't cancel the vegetable festival. We want to show off our vegetables. Quartermain says he can kill the were-rabbit. We'll let him do that. He's going to lie to the people in the village about killing the were-rabbit. They're going to have the festival. And then we've been homaging Buster Keaton for a bit, just weird hijinks in a car or just climbing over buildings. What if we homaged King Kong for a bit? It's because you can. There's a beautiful girl in the town that Wallace likes. He's a were-rabbit. He's going to capture her, scale the side of a building at the festival, and then we're going to have Gromit and his opposing dog, because Quartermain also has a dog, so it's the counterpoint to Wallace and Gromit. So he's going to have a dog that's going to get in another little airplane, and they're going to chase each other around the sky trying to catch the were-rabbit. This whole time it's just Gromit trying to catch the were-rabbit. That is the plot of the movie. It's we know who it is. We learn it pretty early on when Gromit finds the tracks leading into Wallace's room. And the whole time it's just a dog being a good dog. And you're like, that's awesome. We're here for the dog. We like the cheese guy, me boy. But no, we like the dog. The dog's awesome. Gromit's awesome. He's going to save the day. These sequences are incredible. The action is so funny. It's so cool. It's that classic type of humor where they're fighting in a children's airplane that you have to put coins in. So when the coins run out, Gromit's like, oh, I'll just get out my money. Oh, I'm out of change. In the middle of the fight, the dog's like, don't worry. I'll bring up my little purse. I'll put some change in. We'll stop the fighting until the plane starts up again. And they'll just continue on fighting. It's funny. That's funny. That's a good joke. That's clever. And they save the day because they give the were-rabbit cheese and Wallace becomes Wallace again. And he meets the girl and they're like, yay, we could put your rabbits at the sanctuary. And it's yeah, cool. There's also just really cool contraptions. He is a smart guy building stuff. The first device we see is a weird vacuum that you stick into the ground and it sucks out rabbits. It just sucks out rabbits or toupees and stuff. That's also a really funny joke. Oh, I love the joke where like Quartermain gets like his toupee sucked into like the vacuum, and he's like, "I'd like my toupee." And Wallace is like, "Oh, you'd like to pay? You don't have to pay me, sir." And he's like, "No, my hair." He's like, "Hair? I'm pretty sure these are just rabbits." That's funny. That's a funny joke. That's a really clever joke. I love it. I love how silly it is. Just having fun in this stupid world with these stupid characters. It makes me feel good. Like this is what you want. This is the kind of thing you want to see from this world. You know, everything works out in the end. We chase the bad guy out of town because we stuff him into like the Lady Rabbit costume. That's another one of like my favorite tropes in all of comedy. We saw it recently in Hundreds of Beavers. How do you lure a crazed animal? You make a female version that's sexy and has hips and lipstick, and you do like a little swaying dance. And it's just so funny. It always makes me laugh. Just like, yes, the primal animal nature of seeing like a female version of you. It's going to drive you crazy. That's such a funny joke. Oh, it's good. It's really good. These characters are really fun. Like, they are timeless. They are timeless, and they are iconic. And the fact that they're still enduring today and people still talk about them and celebrate them, it's really exciting. It is such a small production of a movie. There's only so many characters that you can have, but you see the craftsmanship and the level of detail put into this. Like, I think back to other iconic ones like James and the Giant Peach, and you just look at how that looks compared to this, just like the evolution of how like we move the camera, how we move the characters. It's so compelling. It's so unique. Because we have like 4K television now, you can see like the crisp details where like the clay isn't perfectly smooth. You can see the wrinkles and line work and stuff. And that just feels so special. It just feels like such a dedication to an art form we don't get to see that much of anymore. And every time we get that, it just feels so special and cool. This movie is so much fun. It looks good. It makes you feel good. Never a dull moment when your favorite comedy duo of the era are on screen. They're so unique and silly and one of the best dogs in the business. And they fight in a big rabbit, doing a King Kong homage. It's all coming full circle. Oh, it's funny. It's so good. I love these guys. I love this movie. And Curse of the Were-Rabbit, it is streaming on Prime. I say watch it before we get a Murder Most Foul, because it is just worth it. And that, folks, is going to do it for this episode of Comedic Tales. Thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you could check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one, me old boy. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.